Welcome to the new and improved K7's podcast. If you happen to enjoy the K7's podcast content, then consider leaving a sub over at the K7's podcast channel. Links left down in the description. Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to K7's podcast. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about the disastrous disaster going on over at EA. Of course, a little bit ago I made a video talking about the Anthem disaster that happened over at EA, and now, as of late, EA has fired about 350 people. Well, and this definitely is not looking so good for EA. It looks pretty bad, and the company seems to be headed in a bad direction. I have my thoughts and my takes on what I feel about EA, and I expressed those in those two videos. Of course, I don't think EA is going to be around for too much longer, and I really think the decision that they're making is really going to push them down the drain. They continue to make these type of decisions, they're not going to be around for much longer. But anyways, today I have a guest on the podcast to talk about what's going on over at EA, because it's not looking so good, like I said, and I want another point of view and I want to get someone else's take. So today we have Atomic Sanity on the show. He has a YouTube channel. He has about 1,000 or so subscribers. If you want to check his channel out, you can check those links down in the description. So welcome to the podcast, Atomic.
Yeah, hello. It's an honor to be here.
Well, I'm glad to have you. So, of course, as you already know why you're here, we're going to be talking about the EA debacle and what's going on over at EA. So, as of late, EA has just fired over 350 people at their company over in Japan and over in Russia. What do you think about EA firing these employees, and why do you think they did it?
I think it's the completely wrong decision, because I feel like it's either just stress they're having with all the just controversy, and they spent so much time on a game just for it to flunk, and it's either stress, low income to be firing.
Yeah, I believe that too. I believe really it has to kind of do with the Anthem thing, but there's no ties. They're not admitting that, but it is possible that possibly could.
Usually when companies don't say anything about like, hey, blah blah blah, is it because of this? If they don't say anything, usually it's just like they just don't want to give away that.
Yeah, I agree with that. Usually when they don't say anything, they don't want to disclose anything. Usually they're hiding the reasons why they're doing a particular something. But of course, you know, EA is pretty money hungry, so that's one of the reasons too. They want they want that revenue. They want that cash. So EA really doesn't care. They'll slaughter you off the face of the earth in order to make that money. But what do you feel? What do you feel about those employees now that they don't work at EA? Do you think this is better off for them, or do you think they would have been better off continuing to work at EA, considering the fact that EA did fire them? Or do you think they'll have better opportunities, considering now that they don't work for EA?
So, from what I've researched, because I'm trying to be a tech guru when I'm a little older, from what I've seen, there's a very high demand for programmers, and since EA isn't doing very well, I believe they would do better with a company, say like Microsoft or Ubisoft, or just one of those big companies that are doing very well and even doing better at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I think the decision that EA made to fire these people, or individuals, should I say, it's really going to backfire on them, considering the fact that really these individuals are going to be picked up by other companies. and they're gonna say, well, hey,
We're gonna pay you more money. We're gonna have more success. You'll be here for a while. You won't be
ex-
tugged and
exactly. All right, so yeah, so EA fired these people, and I'm really sad about the decision that EA has fired these individuals, and now they don't have work, and now they don't have jobs, and they were
not for long.
Yeah, well, not for long, yeah, but I mean, I think the majority part of the issue is that, well, why does this continue to happen? I mean, my take is, I think EA is treating people unfairly. They're not treating people as the individuals would treat them. And I think that one of the reasons why EA is acting in this way is because they feel boastful, they feel pompous, they're proud of themselves. They don't really care because the people continue to buy their stuff, even though they clearly are not a good company. So I think the main reason why this is happening and why EA has become so boastful and pompous on continuing to make bad decisions like this and push out crappy games is because they don't care, because people continue to buy their games. Would you agree with that? And do you think that if people would stop buying their games and stop supporting them unless they gave the same support that the people gave them, do you think that this type of behavior would stop?
Probably not, because say, I don't know how to put this into like good terms, but how like they don't listen to the fans, their reputation is already low. I think they just reached rock bottom and there's nothing to pull them back up, except if it's like they clan up with some like other companies that made them like popular again and just a bunch of other stuff. And since they're not going to have as much programs, they're not going to get those sales on games. They're not going to get that much more reputation, because the fans want games to come out. They're not just going to be like, okay, once every 9 years. People don't want that. People just want constant games. And
this isn't, as I've said in one of my prior videos, this isn't new behavior from EA. They've been acting in this way for quite some time, but the thing about it is,
but now they're steeping that low. They were starting to do it, but now they just went all out in that behavior.
Yes, yeah, they've gone all out. They've gone all out, and you can clearly see that they don't care. And this is where the issue is. Let's talk a little bit about the Anthem debacle. Now, Anthem was hyped up to be this huge, really cool game, and when I saw
like
this,
for like EA, the trailers, they only show what they want you to see until launch, and then all the background stuff is just absolutely terrible.
Oh yeah, definitely. It really they hyped it up. They hyped it up a lot, and they showed these really cool Spartans flying around and all this stuff.
What probably could have saved EA is if they showed a bit more of the game instead of just the main thing, which they perfected.
Well, yeah. I mean, this is what companies do to sell you. Like, they don't really put much effort into showing, like, oh, this is actually a good game. They'll show you what's exciting, because apparently the flying around was the only thing Anthem had to offer. Okay. Yeah, so they put out this trailer, they hyped up the game, and when I saw it was being done under EA, I'm like, I'm not gonna buy this because it's under EA. I know it's gonna be bad. And lo and behold, the game sucked when it came out. I'm like, okay, I'm not surprised. I'm just gonna talk about it now. So like EA, go ahead.
One thing that I think all companies should do is like try to like briefly show everything that's available. So like the community, which some companies care about, certainly not EA, would be like, oh, this is an issue. We should probably do something about this. A lot of people are concerned.
Yeah, EA should try to be a better company.
I'm saying this for all companies for like trailers.
I think
actually in store.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think you really can't tell the quality of what a game will be like from the trailer, but this is what demos are for. Usually, you have these demonstration games put out so you can test it, and then they have betas, and that's where the improvements are supposed to come in. But it seems like when the Anthem beta came out, they still didn't make any improvements. The people were complaining about the bugs and the glitches in the beta, and it seems like they improved some of it, but then again, they still kept a lot of bugs in the game, and then they were still continuing to put patches in the game after the game was released because they still didn't fix it all, which really is very disappointing. I think this is just so bad on EA's part. But as far as this game was made by Bioware, do you think that this game being pushed out was EA's decision, or do you think it was Bioware's fault that they wasn't able to finish the game?
Bioware is definitely not the problem. I'm pretty sure, like, speaking from Bioware, they're the persons who are like, okay, this is a problem. From what we see, we're gonna fix it before we do anything else. And EA should like hurry up, new game now, and say what you're talking about before about like the betas and alphas. That's not sponsored, but it's like small companies like the people who made Spellbreak. They're having an alpha for an entire year, making constant updates of a small team, and like basically they have a whole Discord server. They listen to people and fix stuff. I've seen so many patches. I've seen so many good things. And it's going to be for an alpha for an entire year, so when it's an actual game, it's going to be really good.
Yeah, it's about the customer feedback. I mean, this is what the betas and the alphas are for. And I agree with you 100% on that, Atomic. Even I said this myself in a former video. I stated
some people, some companies, it's like, okay, for like alpha or beta, they pick specific people who are like fans of like EA or the company they're doing, and like some of them are like, nothing's wrong with it.
Yeah, and I think that's where the problem comes in. I mean, you need to be, if you're going to like try to improve your game, you want to actually
you don't want to give it to fanboys.
Yeah, because they're gonna suck up to you whenever they get a chance to. So they're not gonna be like, oh, I don't think this is a issue. It's fine. And some of them are even paid to give good reviews on their particular games. We see this a lot happening because they don't want an honest, open opinion about their game, because they don't want any bad light shine onto their product for making mistakes that could potentially be improved on before the game is actually developed and pushed out. This would actually help them. But again, as you said, you should have a real grassrooted type of, community that plays the game, says, okay, this is an issue, this is an issue, this is an issue, and get that fixed before the game gets pushed out. Because you wouldn't see games like Anthem if, this was the case. But EA clearly doesn't do this. Let's talk a little bit about the microtransactions. What do you think about the particular loot box type of deal that EA is doing? I mean, they're already making enough money, but now they're trying to push items down your throat and forcing you to buy it just to play their game. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
They're personally, from what I think, they're costing too much for a simple in-game item. And for like about like unlocking game stuff, I completely get it. Like, there's DLCs for like extending an extra part of the story or whatever, but they cost too much for it. It's like saying, hey, $60, a bit of the more story, which I believe they would do. And one thing that I've seen, there would like be pop-ups, and then for like some of the people who have their credit card already into their PS4, and those random pop-ups come like after you do like a match or something, and you're trying to get to like the continue to the home, and you're like spamming A. If that one of those pops up, hey, you just bought it.
Absolutely, yeah, that's true. And there's a
Because
lot.
they keep on pop-ups until you get sick of it, and then you just buy it for not going away.
So, one of the developers that are now publishing their own games is now Destiny. So, the Destiny team left EA. Do you think Destiny left EA because they were under the same circumstances, being under EA, and EA's trying to control them and run their development team, trying to make them do this, trying to make them do that? Do you feel like this is the reason why the Destiny team left, or do you feel like it's another reason?
I feel like it's definitely they're forcing everything.
What I thought when I saw the Destiny team initially leave EA, I was like, that's great. Because if they stay under EA, they're going to be messed up just like the other development teams.
There's still other companies. I mean, there's still other companies that won't bombard you with do this, do that, which EA is doing.
Yeah, EA's definitely doing that.
One thing that will definitely affect EA, the Destiny team is really popular, as you know. And now that such a big one left EA, that's even going to lead them down a deeper path, because Bioware has the perfect people to make their own and not having to be under someone.
But seeing as though how EA has done everything and they've gotten to where they are right now today as we see them, what do you think EA's future is headed, and what do you think EA can do to improve this?
The main solution is they don't care about the community, what they want. They need to listen to the community, and that's basically the only thing, or else they're going to be bankrupt within maybe 5 years.
Do you think that this type of behavior will continue? Because there are individuals who still buy their games and they don't really look at the news. They don't look at the gaming news. They just say, well, hey, I want to buy the game. You know, they don't even know if EA sucks.
I think the behavior will still catch up, and say the people is like, who I'm going to buy because I want to. Eventually they'll see, okay, every game that's being produced by EA from then to now have been really bad. Now I'm going to actually start looking into and seeing how bad it really is, which obviously they won't buy it.
What was it that just pushed you over the edge to say, you know, enough, I'm not going to buy EA games anymore. I'm just not going to.
Mainly about the quality of the games. They started to go down and down over time. And say, I used to play on console, and well, it was my dad's PS4. He let me play on it. And then, like, I'm a gamer, so I was like trying to get to menu real fast. Like what I said before, one of those things popped up. It was like a $50 thing, and then I pressed OK on accident because it was just a random pop-up. And then, because since the credit card and stuff was on my dad's PS4, it bought it instantly. Which then I just got enraged, like, one, the quality, and then just the stupid pop-ups. Just, that's what maybe stop EA.
But, you know, for me, I just think that EA has made a complete disaster. They're a dump heap, trash bin, disaster fire, and I think that they're really not in a good place right now. And I think if they did turn around, yeah, they could do better, but I think it's just really sad for what's going on with EA. I don't care.
There's gonna be a small chance they're gonna get back on their feet, but I'm pretty sure like then they will start actually being a good company.
It's possible. Maybe if they get a new ownership. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. Like, any final thoughts as far as what you feel about EA and how it's affected you?
Not really how it's affected me, but more about how EA is destined to fail. Even if they want to make a good game, they realized all this stuff, but they have the time before they went bankrupt. Because obviously you can't make a good game within a year.
Obviously not. It takes about 6 to 4 years to make a good game, sometimes even longer. Yeah, it takes a long time to develop a game. Absolutely, I agree with you. I have nothing good to say about EA. and I think a lot of people will agree with us in this discussion. But whatever your thoughts may be, leave those comments down below in the comment section. I want to know what you guys and girls think about this little discussion that I've had here with Atomic. Now, I know this podcast was a bit long, and I appreciate all of you who were able to sit through it. Well, anyways, guys, until next time, this has been K7's podcast. Take care, and I'll see you all later. Peace.